Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with the Sun's Colin Hart. Colin, it's great to see you. Are you in the Christmas spirit, the festive cheer?
Almost. I haven't started spending the money yet.
That's the most important thing. How many presents do you have to buy?
Oh, too many. I've got 4 grandchildren, 2 daughters and a wife. That's enough.
Your presence is a present as well to boxing fans. So Colin, let's get into the boxing conversation. First of all, I want to start at the top, the heavyweight division. The announcement has happened now. Daniel Dubois is defending his heavyweight crown against Joe Parker. Yeah. Your thoughts on that fight?
It's a very interesting fight. I don't think Dubois will do to Parker what he did to Joshua a few weeks ago. I mean, Parker's a very seasoned pro, a very technical fighter. Although he was knocked out by Joyce, but I can't see, Dubois may stop him in the later rounds, but I can't see him blitzing Parker out the way he did Joshua.
For Dubois to take Dubois and his team and Queensberry to make the choice to take on Joe Parker, who is the in-form heavyweight right now, outside of course, Oleksandr Usyk, represents a bit of a change, because normally what happens in boxing is that when it's a voluntary defense, they used to kind of take the lower ranked heavyweights. So for Dubois to take on the toughest challenge, the most informed fighter outside of Oleksandr Usyk, what does that mean to you?
It means that Mr. Turkey al-Sheikh has a great influence on what goes on in Riyadh. And I think he must have said something like, we don't want Dubois to pick a patsy for this big show in February. I think he's had a great influence as to who fights whom. And otherwise, you're quite right. Normally, he would have picked a nice, easy one for his first defence. Those days, with the money they're being paid, I think those days are now gone.
If Dubois gets the victory over Joe Parker and Fury was to lose to Usyk, would you rank Daniel Dubois as the best heavyweight in Britain, the best British heavyweight?
Well, he would have proved it. I mean, obviously, there would be an argument, would he, just because Usyk beats Fury a second time, doesn't mean that Dubois will beat Fury. So I think Dubois would have to fight Fury to decide who is the best British heavyweight.
That means that with Dubois fighting Joe Parker, that anti-Joshua has to find another opponent or wait for the outcome of Usyk versus Fury 2. Do you feel that the Joshua team have made the right choice to not take the immediate rematch with Daniel Dubois?
Well, we are told that he's injured. And now nobody's told us what kind of injury he's got. So we can only take their word for it. It is possible he will wait to see what happens on the 21st of this month, because I still believe, even if Fury was to lose, the British public would love to see Fury and Joshua.
The prospect of Fury versus Joshua, just how, look, if Tyson Fury was to lose and the form that AJ has been on, would it be fair to say that it's not as big of a fight as it maybe once was?
Oh, there'd be no titles at stake. It would still be a very interesting fight that the fans would want to see. Good. But I can't see it earning the kind of money it would have done.
Should the winner of Dubois versus Parker be the one first in line for the winner of Usyk versus Fury 2, because it's been spoke about that potentially Klitschko could come back and fight maybe the winner if it's to be Fury. Joshua is someone who's waiting in the wings for if the winner is Tyson Fury as well too. But does the winner of Dubois versus Parker, the one that holds the other belt, should that be the person who's first in line for the winner?
I think so. I mean, it'll be, again, a unifying fight. One fighter would have 3 titles, and there'd be the IBF title at stake, which Dubois now holds. So it would be another unification fight. So it has the credentials.
Onto that thought, though, Vladimir Klitschko returning back to the ring at 48, Colin. How do you feel about it?
Oh, you know, this is becoming very boring. These fighters, nearly 50 years of age, wanted to fight again, they suddenly see there's money to be made, so they're all coming out the woodwork. I mean, to me, it's just insane.
Was it insanity watching Mike Tyson and Jake Paul in the ring?
I'm glad to tell you I didn't watch it.
Okay.
I mean, before the fight, my column in The Sun tore it to shreds. I mean, I thought it was disgraceful. I don't blame Tyson. Anybody who's offered $20 to $30 million for 16 minutes work, how can you say to them, don't accept it? I blamed the television company that put it out and the Texas authority that sanctioned it. They were the ones to blame.
It appears to be that won't be the final time we see Mike Tyson in the ring, though. He said afterwards, look, it's not going to be the final time. I might take on his brother, Logan Paul.
Well, maybe. Good luck to him. If that's what he wants to do, I would not want to watch it.
I don't think I've ever asked you this. Jake Paul, what are your thoughts on him as a fighter? He seemed to try and separate himself.
I'm not ashamed to say I have never seen him fight. I do not watch charades. I'm a boxing correspondent, and to me, that's not boxing.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't expect anything less. Moving on to more positive things, Manny Pacquiao finds himself inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame class 2025. Just your words on Manny Pacquiao.
Well, listen, I mean, as soon as he was eligible, he was going to get it. One of the greatest fighters who's ever been. So he thoroughly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I would have been astonished if he wasn't in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there was a man who held 8 titles across, goodness knows, 60 divisions? I mean, speaks for itself.
You have been in boxing a lot longer than I have, it's safe to say. And this February 22nd card has been heralded as one of the greatest cards to have ever been. On paper, of course, everything's got to be finalised and we've got to see the fighters in the ring. But on paper, it's been heralded as one of the greatest cards to have ever been put down in place. Pacquiao Bivol headlines it, the rematch alongside Dubois vs. Parker and other great fights. Is it up there in the pantheon of the best fights?
It's the greatest card since the last great card. No, I mean, on paper, it's exceptional. And, how can you... I mean, I've had a thing for some time about young Hamza Shiraz. When I first saw him, I thought, and I wrote in my paper, here is a potential world champion. So I'm dying to see him fight for the WBC middleweight title. And I want to hope he's going to prove me right. I mean, it's just one of many fights on that card.
Want to get your thoughts on a recent development that sees Frank Warren now move over to DAZN from TNT. That's boxing featured heavily more on an app off of the traditional mainstream ways of watching TV. Your thoughts on that for boxing fans and the future of boxing?
Listen, who am I to teach Frank Warren how to go about his business? He's been at it 47 years. And if he thinks that's going to improve his fighters by appearing on DAZN, he's the man who knows. He pulls the strings, his fighters will benefit, I'm sure, and so will he.
Very last thing from myself, Conor Benn, it seems like he's been, the suspension's been lifted and Robert Smith of the British Boxing Board of Control says he anticipates no other reason as to why Conor Benn couldn't be licensed. He's just waiting for that application there. This whole long process seems to be finally at an end, which sees Conor Benn a route to return to the ring. Just your take on this latest development.
Well, he's waited 2 years. He's pleaded his innocence every inch, every step of the way. So, he's now allowed to fight, so good luck to him. I still do not want to see him fight Eubank Jr. He is a small welterweight, and Eubank is a big middleweight. He's really a super middleweight. And I think that fight should never happen because of the difference in size. But it won't stop it happening because I say I don't like it. And that will be a massive seller. I realise that.
Do you think that fight, look, I know you're saying you wouldn't like to see it happen, but do you think if it does happen, it should take place in the UK, or do you think it will happen over in Saudi?
Well, again, it should happen in the UK. I mean, a lot of fights are now in Riyadh, should happen in the UK. But money talks. And if they're going to earn more money in Riyadh, then it goes to Riyadh.
Anyway, Colin, picking this back up with Colin Hart, it was remiss of me, as Colin said, not to ask you about your Usyk versus Fury 2 prediction. How do you see that fight going?
Well, I predicted that Usyk will win the first fight, and I don't see anything different this time. In fact, Usyk very nearly stopped Tyson in that 9th round in May. It would not surprise me if that, not only did he win the return, that this time he does stop Fury in the later rounds.
I'd like to show you a photo of Fury in camp. He said that in the lead up to the second fight, the true form of Tyson Fury is the bigger form of Tyson Fury, the one that came into the fights with Wilder the second and third time around. Here's the photo of Tyson's shape right now. Does it fill you with confidence that he can turn the defeat into a victory?
I'm not interested in looking at pictures. That doesn't count for anything. It's what's in his legs. That's what counts. That picture doesn't tell you whether he's got the legs anymore for a 12-round fight. He's been at it a long, long time, more than 15 years a pro. I thought last time, the reason I thought Usyk would win, because I believed that Tyson was in decline. I don't think he's improved any time in the last few months.
In terms of him being on the decline, how far has he slipped down from his peak form, do you feel?
Well, even if he slipped down 20%, that's a lot.
Colin, we'll leave that there. Thank you so much for picking the seconds out. Got it this time around, the second time around. Much appreciated, sir.